This meeting will come to order. This meeting is being televised live on Cable 9 and is being taped by Peabody Access Television and is also being recorded by our City Council stenographer. City Council is convening on Thursday, January 24th, 2021, to hold a meeting at 7:30 for the purpose of discussing any and all business via in-person participation for the City Council only and remote participation for all others, in accordance with Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws and Governor Baker's emergency order dated March 12, 2020. In accordance with the Governor's order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Laws Chapter 38, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather one place, this meeting of the City Council will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. No in-person attendance of the members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. Alternative public access to this meeting shall be provided in the following manner. 1, this meeting is being televised by Peabody Access Television. Number 2, real-time public comment during public hearings can be addressed to the Peabody City Council utilizing the Zoom software for remote access. If you would, please rise for a moment of silence. Now please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. President, move approval of the record for December 8th, December 10th, and January 4th. So moved.
You've heard the motion by Councilor Gould. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rossignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
We'll now move on the agenda to hearings. Okay. 4A, I see the clerk will read the notice. Clerk just advised me that the notice had been read at the last meeting because this particular hearing was recessed on December 10th. The petitioner is on the Zoom. Mr. Borges and his attorney, if either of you would like to give an overview of your plan for this license. Thank you.
Good night, City Council. This is Attorney Santos on behalf of Russ Used Cars. This is for a license transfer. It's a used car lot license transfer. We have complied with the parking plan and all the other requests made by the city. And at the previous meetings, we answered all the questions asked by the board, and we would ask that the license be transferred to Mr. Borges so he can carry his business at 20 Wall Street.
Thank you. Are there any attendees on the Zoom platform who would either like to speak in favor or in opposition? please raise your hand. Are there any attendees on the Zoom platform who'd like to speak either in favor or in opposition for this application? Mr. Kelty, your hand is raised. Would you like to speak? If so, please state your name and your address for the record.
Was this addressed to Jack Kelty?
Yes, Jack, your hand was raised, so I wanted to make sure. Did you have any comments you wanted to make regarding this particular hearing?
No, I'm sorry. No, I was just trying to make sure I was in the meeting. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Mitsoulas.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, listen, we all know that you're new and this is your first meeting. And we're all going to get through this, you, me, and people out there listening. This is a very simple procedure here. It's a simple transfer. We've already did the, at the previous meeting, we did all in favor, any opposed. And any comments I had, I made those comments. The council also made their comments. What I would like to do, Mr. Chairman, unless there's any questions that haven't been asked from the council, I'd like to close the public hearing and take the next step on it. So move, Mr. Chairman.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Mitsoulas, motion to close the public hearing. Roll call vote.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Are there any other questions by other councilors? Councilor Sasslaw.
Thank you, Council President. Through you to Council Mitsoulas, I think we might have covered it, but I just want to make sure, were the taxes paid up? Or I don't remember if we covered that or not the last meeting.
I think that question was asked, and I think the question was yes.
Yes, we did take care of the taxes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Any other questions from fellow councilors? Councilor Mitsoulas, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve a Class 2 motor vehicle license transfer from Douglas Carrier, doing business as Russ's Used Cars, to Paul Magalaris Borges, doing business at 20 Wallace Street. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Mitsoulas. Any debate? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Congratulations. Next hearing is 4B, special permit for Scott Crooker. Clerk will please read the notice. Apologies, we already read them at the last hearing. Would the petitioner like to make any comments regarding his special permit request at this time? Mr. Crooker?
No, thank you, sir.
Councilor Welton?
Thank you, Mr. President. I think, are we still open for public hearing?
Apologies, Mr. Welton. I want to make sure that the public participants have an opportunity. Are there any attendees on the Zoom platform who want to speak either in favor or in opposition of this application? Please raise your hand. Are there any attendees on the Zoom platform who'd like to speak either in favor or in opposition of this application? Please raise your hand. Seeing none, Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to close public hearing on this matter. So moved.
Any debate? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion to carry, 11-0.
Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve a special permit for Mr. Scott Crooker, seeking to operate a tattoo shop at 145A Summit Street, Suite 208, Peabody, Mass., with operating hours by appointment only from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week, pending all papers being in order. So moved.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Welton. Is there any debate? Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the motion, through you to Councilor Welton. Councilor Welton, the inputs from the Health Department, do you want to make those a condition?
Yes, thank you, Councilor McGinn. If I could add to the motion the inclusion of the request of the Department of Health that the establishment will require a permit from the Board of Health as well as all body artists to be employed. Applicant to follow up with Department of Health and is subject to all mass COVID safety standards for close contact personal services. So moved.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Welton. Is there any debate? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Congratulations, Mr. Crooker.
Thank you so much.
Next hearing is hearing 4C, special permit for John Mahoney, care of Atomic Coffee Roasters. The clerk doesn't need to read the notice. I'm going to get it eventually. Councilor Mitsoulas. Beg your pardon. Excuse me, Councilor Mitsoulas, my mistake, rookie mistake. Want to just ask if the participant, Mr. Mahoney wants to make any kind of statement on his application. Thank you.
Mr. President, John Kelty for John Mahoney. I just wanted, am I on?
Yes,
go ahead,
you are.
go ahead, Mr. Kelty. If you
Okay.
just, once again, you stated your name for the record. If you're addressed for the record, thank you.
Yep. John Kelty, attorney for John Mahoney and the Atomic Coffee Roasters. I have offices at 40 Lowell Street in Peabody, Massachusetts. I'm a resident of Peabody. And I would only suggest to the council that since we were last here, the opportunity was presented for Mr. Mahoney and Councilor Mitsoulas to meet, and they have had the opportunity to have that discussion. And I think Councilor Mitsoulas had one or two questions. One question was the response of the Board of Health, and the Board of Health has weighed in, and they've said essentially, in as much as this is a wholesale operation, we are not governed by regular inspections from them, but rather from the state. If we were to add a retail component, which is not in the offing now, we would then be regularly inspected by the Board of Health and would require a retail sales plan. And the other issue was where was the location of the dumpster? And actually the intention would be to leave the dumpster in the place where it is now, which is at the back of the premises, rather than in a small parking lot that we have available. And with that, I think we've addressed the couple of questions that were left outstanding at our last meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Kelty. Councilor Mitsoulas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Councilor Kelty, I want to suggest something to Mr. Mahoney. This is not something he has to do, but I want to make a suggestion because I see this all happening in industrial parks like the one on Webster Street, where the dumpster is. If you would put, it's your choice, if you would put a cover around the dumpster to avoid other businesses or companies or just people driving through the industrial park from throwing trash into your dumpster, it'll save you a little grief. So I will just leave that. You know. And also, Mr. Chairman, I wanted the opportunity to go down to 5 Webster Street and check the location where Unit B is, and I did that. And I think it's the perfect location for the type of business you're running. As a matter of fact, I welcome more of that type of business into the Webster Street location. I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Mitsoulas. Did you want to accept item 8B, a letter from Amy McGuire on Webster Street in favor of Atomic Coffee Roasters?
Motion to approve. A motion to receive, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Mitsoulas. Roll call vote. Oh, any debate? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Thank you, councilors.
Thank you.
Am I on?
Mr. Councilor Mitsoulas, would you like to make a motion to close the public hearing?
To make a motion to close the public hearing, Mr. Chairman. So moved.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Mitsoulas. Is there any debate? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Thank you, councilors.
Mr. Kelty,
Not yet.
excuse me, Mr. Kelty, we're still not done. We have an opportunity for councilors to ask further questions. Councilor Gould?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to wish Mark and John well. Just keep working hard, guys, and you're going to be a great asset to the city. Thanks for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Councilor McGinn?
Thank you, Mr. President. Similar to Councilor Gould, I also wish them well. I just, through you, Mr. President, to Councilor Matsoulis, there was some question the last time. I didn't have the inputs from the Health Department, but they were in fact in the package, so, but there was a reference in there to a integrated pest management plan, so my only request, Councilor Matsoulis, if you're agreeable to it, is to make that that Health Department input a condition of the permit. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. President.
Any other questions from fellow councilors? Councilor Matsoulis?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd like to approve the special permit for John Mahoney, CO Atomic Coffee Roasters, LLC, 5 Webster Street, Unit B, for the purpose to allow use of Unit B as a food processing wholesale for wholesale, provided all work is carried on inside the building. And also, Mr. Chairman, the communication we got from the Health Department, I'd like to see that as part of the condition of the special permit. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Matsoulis. Any debate? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Councilor Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Matsoulis,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rossignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Congratulations, Mr. Mahoney.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Next hearing is item 4D, special permit for MEC PBD Associates Limited Partnership. The clerk, excuse me, I'm looking on the Zoom, and it looks like Nicole DiNapoli is here from WS Development. Would you like to make any comments at this time, Nicole?
We have nothing to add at this time.
Are there any attendees on the Zoom platform who would either want to speak in opposition, in favor, or in opposition at this time? Please raise your hand. Are there any attendees on the Zoom platform who want to speak either in favor or in opposition to this time? Please raise your hand. I see Keith Slattery has his hand raised. Keith is with PBD West Little League. Keith, would you like to state your name and your address for the record? Thank you.
Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Mr. Slattery.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you very much. Good evening, members of the council. I am Keith Slattery. I'm the safety officer for PBD West Little League. And through the chair, we spoke at the last meeting about our procedures and policies, about our record of 0 transmissions and a much needed baseball season for the kids. In short, we will be taking that same diligence into our conduct of the facility if allowed by this body. We have full procedures in place, and which the highlights are a sanitizing program between each use, deep cleaning that will be performed regularly. We have capacity that will be well under those ordered by the governor. We will be masked up at all times. We will have long intervals between each practice, and that's to avoid any contact and give us time to sanitize. And we'll also be keeping a strict log for contact tracing. So once again, I do thank you for your consideration, and I would be here if you had any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Slattery. Councilor Rossignol.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, I'd like to make a motion to receive items 8E and 8F. So moved.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Rossignol. Is there any debate? Hearing none. Oh, Councilor McGinn.
Thank you. it wasn't clear to me that do those refer specifically to this matter, those two?
Yes, items 8E and 8F relate to this particular hearing, the PBD West League, their safety protocols regarding, the safety of the children and attendees, as well as COVID. So items 8E is in egg, 8 is in Frank.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just, the clubhouse, so what we're to understand is that they're going to utilize the same protocols at this facility as they do elsewhere. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's my understanding, yeah.
Thank you for the clarification, Mr. President.
Councilor Rossignol. Roll call. Apologize. You've heard the motion from Councilor Rossignol. Any debate? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manny Martin,
Yes.
Sasla,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist. Councilor Charist?
Yes.
McGinn?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rossignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor Rossignol.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you know from our last hearing, this is more or less a continuation of a continued use. PBD West Little League is a great organization that is doing great things. So I will be in favor of this, but right now I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Rossignol. Any debate? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manny Martin,
Yes.
Sasla,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rossignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor Rossignol.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the special permit for MEC Peabody Associated Limited Partners, 635 Lowell Street, and allow indoor recreation specifically for the Peabody West Little League to temporarily occupy Suite A205. So moved.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Rossignol. Any debate? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manny Martin,
Yes.
Sasla,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rossignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Congratulations and good luck.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next hearing is hearing 4E, special permit for Volta. Are the attendees on? Okay. Would the petitioner like to speak at this time? Either Mr. John Lawrence or Dean Apostolaris. Thank you. Would the petitioners, either Mr. Lawrence or Apostolaris, like to make any comment at this time?
Hey, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Mr. Apostolaris. Could you just please state your name and address for the record?
Yes, of course. Yep, my name is Dean Apostolaris. I'm here with Kimley Horn representing this application. And the address of the where I'm at or of the site is 210 Andover Street.
Yes. Continue, please.
We don't have any other comment on the application. I believe we were having some technical difficulties before. I'm not sure if John Lawrence is able to speak as well.
I can see Mr. Lawrence on the screen, but I believe he's self-muted right now, so if he wants to speak, we can...
Hi, this is Ashley Harkness with Kim Horn. John's computer just crashed, so he may be on shortly.
Is there a possibility for us to return to this application back around when his computer gets back up and running?
Should we still have the public hearing? Ms. Harkness, did you want to make any comments at this time?
No, not at this time, thank you.
Council President, if I may.
Councilor Trest?
Yes, I'm not sure if Dean or Ms. Hawkins can take the place or if they need him to come on. Mr. Lawrence, I did speak to him several times on this, and this was recessed prior. And there was a few things that we needed to iron out here. If it's up to them. I mean, I have no objections if you want to push this at the end of the hearings. I don't think we have just one, possibly two more, if that gives them some time. If not, we can continue without him. We have one more special permit after this.
And John says he'll be back in 5 minutes about.
Okay, Council President, can we just can we skip over and come back? If he's only going to be 5 minutes, he did start this hearing with us, and it might be just as easy if we wait 5 minutes.
Councilor Trest, do you want to make a motion to move this hearing to the end of after the next two?
So be it. Yes. If I make a motion to move this to the end of the hearings to give ample time for Mr. Lawrence to log back on. So move.
You heard the motion by Mr. Charest. Any debate? Councilor Turco.
I think PAT was trying to point out to us that Mr. Lawrence may be back online with us on the screen.
All right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I apologize. My computer has never crashed.
Mr. Lawrence, on the motion, Mr. Trest, Councilor Trest, would you like to just withdraw that at this time?
Withdraw, yes, please.
Thank you. Mr. Lawrence, please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Sure. John Lawrence. I work for Volta Charging. Our headquarters is at 155 Daharo in San Francisco, but I live at 14 Mill Street in Middleton, Massachusetts.
Mr. Lawrence, did you want to make any comments at this time?
I don't think so. I did touch base with Councilor Charest last night. I know we were both trying to meet out at one of our existing stations, and timing did not allow with the holidays. And over the last few weeks, Councilor Charest, it was my impression that was okay with the pictures and things he saw online. So I think that was a moot point. But otherwise, I don't have any other comments, but happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. At this time, I'd like to ask if there are any attendees on the Zoom platform who'd like to speak either in favor or in opposition of this application. Please raise your hand. Do you see anyone? Are there any attendees on the Zoom platform who'd like to speak either in favor or in opposition at this time on this application? Please raise your hand. Seeing none, Councilor Charest.
Thank you. I did have a couple just other questions, if I may, Council President. Mr. Lawrence, how many years of agreement do you have with the Macy's to have your charging stations on their property? I don't think
it's a 10-year agreement.
A 10-year, yeah. In the My only other question too was to, when we talked about the ordinances that we have within the city, it's the, get the correct, I asked if you had it, it's the refueling requirements that we have. Are you familiar with that at this time?
Yep. Yeah, I did. We received that from City of Peabody and had a chance to review it and did not see any issues. The only thing that was a little out of the ordinary for us was adding some directional signs, but we're totally fine complying with that.
Okay, so you're fine with the complete requirement of the Chapter 19 entitled Motor Vehicles and Traffic on Code of the City of Peabody. Just want to make sure on the zero emissions vehicle charging stations. We're on the same page, right? Thank you. Exactly. And the only other thing I want to make sure that we understood is that last time we spoke is that the changing of the advertising had went from, you folks normally do 8 seconds, but our requirement is 15 seconds. Am I correct?
Yep, that is acceptable to us as well.
Right. And we talked about the illumination of the signs at any time that they would be able to, if it gets to a point that they are too bright, which I visited a site where potentially these are going to go, and I think it's brighter with the street lights and the parking lot lights than anything else. I don't think your lights are going to make any bit difference, but you're okay with that, coming back to be able to possibly dim it down if we ask you to come back, do that at later on at nighttime. I did stand up to the top of the street, look down, and there really is no residents that can be bothered by the machines themselves, the lights. So I'm okay with that. And then we did talk once, to be honest, I'm sorry, I forget who brought it up. It might have been Councilor Gould, and to be able to use it as a emergency advertising for the city as we do for the billboards. Were you able to look into that to see if that was, if you would be able to accommodate us on that?
Yeah, I talked to the person in my office that really handles that. His name is Perkins Foss, and I can get his information to you. And he reiterated to me the same thing that I talked about last meeting. You know, we want to be a good partner with Peabody, so you know, we'd work with you guys on that if there were emergency type things you needed to get out. And we've done that in the past, particularly with some of the COVID, you know, wear a mask and things like that. That some towns, and I think it was in California, wanted us to do. So we're you know, amenable to that, and I'll get you his information to coordinate that sort of thing with.
Sure. And right now, I think that's all I have. I apologize for my voice. I have a cold, so I'm not sure if my voice is transmitting enough for you, but I'm going to limit to how much I speak. I'll open up to the floor if anyone else has any questions.
Councilor Tress, would you like to move to close the public hearing?
Mr. President?
Councilor Gould.
Thank you. Before we close the public hearing, through you to Councilor Sharris and Mr. Lawrence, Ed, do you mind making the ability to put community events and other alerts a condition, just in case people go away and you know, never the same people we're talking to today aren't there 6 months from now, and just so we can have that as a tool, please.
Sure, Council. I have no problem with that as long as we, you know, we keep it within reasons that we don't want to take prime time.
Absolutely.
I think that's something Mr. Lawrence spoke about. Do we be able to do that? And I think that can be worked out. But Mr. Lawrence, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, as long as it's reasonable and it's, you know, it's we do have to we sell the advertising to pay for the station. So, but you know, community events or emergency type things, snow emergencies or whatever the case may be. Yeah, we're willing to work with you if that's a condition of the special permit approval for sure.
All right. So if we could add that to a condition of the special permit, also, Allison. And is anyone else, Council President, if you want to ask the councilors if there's anyone else who wants to speak. If not, I can make a motion.
Councilor Charest, thank you. Would you like to move to close the public hearing?
I would, thank you, Council President. I'd like to make a motion to move the close the public hearing. So move.
You've heard the motion. Any debate? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Council President.
Councilor Charest?
Yes, I just want, I believe this is the first, I know we have other charging stations in the mall, but this is, again, one of the first, happy to have the first charging stations here in Ward 4. Again, another improvement for this great ward, and I thank Mr. Lawrence wanted to come to this great city. I know we're going to be seeing him in other parts of the city in the future. So thank you for looking at us and welcome. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Charest. Are there any other councilors who want to ask a question at this time? Seeing none, Councilor Charest?
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve the applications of Moto 155 D. Harold Street, San Francisco, California, for a special permit seeking all installation of 2 electric vehicle charging stations with electrical digital display messaging at 210 Andover Street at the parking lot existing the Macy's department store. Peabody, Massachusetts has filed the ordinance of section 4.2.5, comma 5, 6.1, and 15.7 of the Peabody zoning ordinance. So move.
Excuse me, Councilor Charest, was there a condition that you had discussed?
Thank you. Yeah, with the conditions of them allowing the city to utilize their screen for emergency and municipal information, also to include of the recognizing of the ordinances that we have within the city of charging stations. So move.
Thank you, Councilor Charest. You've heard the motion from Councilor Charest. Any debate? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes. Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. I apologize again for my voice.
Congratulations.
Everyone have a great night.
This time we'll move to hearing 8 for F, Peter Metropolis, care of DMP Realty Trust. Would any of the petitioners like to speak at this time? Mr. Metropolis?
This is Peter Metropolis.
Metropolis,
Hello,
good evening.
this is
Could you
Peter
state your
Metropolis.
name? Mr. Metropolis, could you state your name, which you did, but your address for the record? Thank you.
My name is Peter Metropolis, 5 Plymouth Road, Peabody, Massachusetts.
Thank you, Mr. Metropolis. Did you want to make any comments this evening?
Yes, I would like to increase the number of units from 10 to 25 units. End of the statement.
Okay, thank you. Are there any attendees on the Zoom platform who would like to speak at this time, either in favor or in opposition of this application? Please raise your hand. Are there any attendees on the Zoom platform who would like to speak either in favor or in opposition on this application at this time? Please raise your hand. Seeing no one at this time, Councilor Sasslaw.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to make a motion to receive late communication 1 that we all got emailed this afternoon.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Sasslaw. Any debate? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor Sasslaw.
Thank you, Council President. So I did have the opportunity to meet with Mr. Metropolis and his brother at 484 Lowell Street after the first of the year. For those of you noticed that we had made a change. Mr. Metropolis has agreed to cut down the number of units from 30 down to 25. So that is a change in the special permit. He's comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with that. And I think that's a show of good faith as well. In addition, I did make sure Mr. Metropolis reached out to Captain Dowling. As you can see from the late communication, Captain Dowling did go out there and also meet with Mr. Metropolis today. And the only addition, I will make a condition of the permit, is that Mr. Metropolis has agreed to make the additional audio and visual alarms and illuminated signs that are required through Captain Dowling. He's agreed to that. And other than that, I feel comfortable with the proposal going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Sasslaw. Would you like to make a motion to close the public hearing at this time?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to close the public hearing. So move.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Sasslaw. Is there any debate? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Counselor?
Sorry, Councilor Charest?
I'm sorry, yeah, I only had one or two other questions, if I may.
Councilor Charest, we're in the middle of a roll call at this time. This is just to close the public hearing.
I'm sorry, thank you.
Councilor Turco.
Thank you, Mr. President. I may be wrong. It's been a long time since I was up there, but I thought we did it the opposite, where we opened it up to the council so that we could voice our concerns prior to closing the public hearing, so that in case the petitioner would like to address us or answer questions from us, it's still open for him to do so. I might be wrong on that. I just want to make sure that, I just had a question that I wanted to make sure that the petitioner could answer for me, and I'm in fear that if we close the public hearing that doesn't allow him to do so. So I think we do it the opposite, but again.
No, thank you, Councilor Turco. Certainly, they are attending as part of the meeting, so they're not part of the public participation, but certainly I want to make sure that we don't run afoul of allowing people to be able to ask the petitioner, because that's why we're here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great point. Thank you.
Counselor?
Councilor Sasslaw, what's the will on your motion at this point in time? Councilor Turco and Councilor Trust, I think, had some questions.
I think you had it right the first time. The 5 previous hearings we did the exact same way. I think it allows the public participation to close, but then any other counselor who wants to ask anything, then it is open for them, and that's what we have been doing all night, and I think we should consistently stay with that. It doesn't make any change. I think we are doing it properly. So my motion would be to close the...
Thank you, Councilor Sasslaw. You've heard the motion to close the public hearing. Any further debate? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
At this time, are there any councilors who would like to comment or ask questions? Councilor Turco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only thing, I'm glad that they at least reduced it to 25. The only question I had there's no condition on this permit that requires a hearing for a transfer of this permit, and being that it's an extraordinary permit that we would never issue in today's day and age, I would ask that we add to this a condition that any transfer of this special permit would come before the council.
Thank you, Councilor Turco. Councilor Sasslaw, any comments on that, Councilor Turco's, I guess, conditioned request?
I think that's more appropriate for the petitioner to probably agree to. I'm not going to speak on their behalf for that. If they want to ask any questions, if they clarification on what that means, probably would now be the time for them to ask. I don't want to assume anything.
Thank you, Councilor Sasslaw. Mr. Metropolis, did you hear Councilor Turco's statement regarding the condition?
Yes, I did. Does that mean, say, for example, if he were to sell the building, the person who was going to purchase the building would have to apply for a permit transfer? Is that what he was referring to?
That's correct, Mr. Metropolis.
Then I would agree to that.
Sorry, Mr. Metropolis, you said you'd be okay with that condition?
Yes, I would agree with Mr. Turco's condition. That
Thank you. I just want to make sure
they would have to go before the city council for a permit transfer to another owner.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure with the auto that you were in agreement with that particular request.
Thank you.
Any further questions or comments from councilors?
Councilor, President?
Councilor Charest?
Yeah. I just, like I said, I only had one or two maybe questions. To the petitioner, in the past packet, you had from the Captain Downing, there's a that the sprinkler heads, because of the reconfigurations of the office, that they may need to be adjusted, I imagine, because of placements and things like that. Are you still is that still within the scope?
Actually, the office building does not have any sprinklers in the building, okay? So that was a misunderstanding of the Captain Dooling. So when he came and did the inspection, he told me what he wanted done, and I agreed to it. But there is no sprinklers in the building at all, and there never were. And he was under the assumption that at the beginning that there might have been sprinklers. So if we make changes, he had to make sure he approved the spray, but it doesn't apply to us.
Okay, just so I'm understanding. So because you're going from the permit for 10 to 25, that doesn't apply to you, that you have to add sprinklers?
That's correct. We don't have sprinklers in the building.
So are you saying excuse me. So are you saying your grandfather in because you don't have sprinklers in there now?
That's what I assume, because the building was built 40 years ago.
And I just want to make sure we're safe. We're not doing something that's 30 years down the line from us now. That the new councilors are saying, what did they do here? Because you're making alterations to the inside of the premise. I want to make sure that, in fact, Captain Downing isn't with us by any chance, is he? To the council president.
Thank you, Councilor Trust. We're just trying to see if the fire department is on the Zoom. We see a number here that's 978-535-4000. Does that happen to be anyone from the Peabody Fire Department?
No, that's Peter Metropolis. That's my number.
Because right in our packet tonight, it talks about the fire protection devices and or sprinklers heads will be required as alterations with the new plan. It says it in our packet. And again, I'm not looking. I just want to make sure we're all safe here. God
At the
forbid.
time, he didn't realize that we did not have sprinklers in the building. So we do have a fire alarm system in the building. and he did ask that I upgrade and put strobes in all the offices or hallways where he mentioned that they should be going in to comply with
Chris.
ADA rules.
Chris, hold on, please.
Council President.
Mr. President,
Gould has, yeah.
if I may help, please.
Councilor Gould.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Councilor Sharist and Councilor Sasslaw. Chris Dowling has been trying to get on the Zoom. He just texted me, and I have him on speakerphone. I don't know if that would help. I don't want to do anything that's not correct protocol here, but Chris, are you there?
I am here, Councilor.
Can you hear that in the? No.
No.
They can't hear you.
Please.
Allison sent me a link, but it was actually a preview. It wasn't actual a link. It was a photo of the link.
Now we can hear him.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris, they can hear you now. I want everyone to be able to hear though. And is this okay to be doing it this way, Mr. President?
That's fine, Councilor Gould. I'm just not sure the audio is great for Captain Dowling. I just want to, if he could just do a test or something just before he starts speaking. Thank you.
It's kind of spotty for me, but I can understand it.
Excuse me, Councilor Gould, could you move your cell phone closer to his phone, I guess the microphone part? I'm not a techie, but thank you.
Yeah, I'm not a techie either. I don't know where the microphone is on my. Why don't we?
Your computer should be way up front.
Yeah, I'm as close to the screen as I can get. Why don't you, Chris? Why don't you try? Test, Chris.
Is there a phone number you can call in? Maybe the city clerk can give him a phone number you can call in? Don't need the video.
Yeah, good point. Allison, do you have a phone number? Allison, do you have a phone number Chris can call in?
Council President, can Allison hear Councilor Gould?
Yes.
Allison, do you have a phone number Lieutenant Dowling can call in, please? Mr. President, do you hear me?
Captain Dowling, I've got, I believe, your cell phone here on the email for the late communication. Is that your cell phone? I don't want to obviously read it, but I can call you on my phone and then put it up to the speaker.
Actually, Mr. President, sorry to interrupt. I have Jim Palmer telling me he gave me a phone number. Chris, do you have a piece of paper, please?
Stand by. Okay.
978-609-0967. That's PAT, who will plug you right through into the Zoom meeting. Again, 978-609-09.
So I call that number?
Yep, they'll answer the phone and plug you in.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, Council Gould.
Thank you all for your patience. This is important, so we want to make sure we get the audio good so everyone can hear. Thank you.
Mr. President, you want to take a 2-minute recess to get this squared away?
Thank you, Councilor Melville. That's a great idea.
I'll make a motion for a 2-minute recess.
I don't know if we can recess in the middle of a hearing.
You've heard the motion.
Council President, I'm not sure we can recess in the middle of a hearing.
Yes, we can.
Councilor Tress, we're just taking a 2-minute recess.
I
for
have
the
no
order.
problem with it, but I just want to make sure we're not, I know in the past that was challenged, so I just want to make sure.
I think we're okay doing it.
We have a motion on the floor for a roll call, for a 2-minute recess. Any debate? Seeing none. Councilor Welton.
On that motion, it sounds like through Mr. Palmer that Mr. Dowling might be available and ready. I don't know if we want to just move forward with it.
On the motion on the floor,
There we
Council
go.
Noble.
He's on, Mr. President.
You have Captain Dowling. I'll rescind the motion.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Council Member. Captain Dowling?
Yes, this is Captain Dowling. Hello.
Thank you, Captain
Yes.
Dowling. I believe Councilor Charest had, and others may have had questions regarding your visit to the site. And Councilor Charest, did you want to ask Captain Dowling
I
questions?
do. Thank you. Thank you, Council President. Captain Dowling, on your response, it says fire protection devices and or sprinklers heads will be required for alteration for the new floor plan. The petitioners, again, I apologize for my voice. I have a cold. That's
okay.
His understanding from you is that because he didn't have sprinklers beforehand, he wasn't subject to this. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. With the square footage of the building and the fact that it's an existing building, a sprinkler system wouldn't be required. So when I received the when I received the request, and we had no objections to it, but we needed to know a little bit more about the building. So we learned that there wasn't an existing sprinkler system, so it doesn't require one now. But the only thing that we asked was that since the building had the floor plan has changed over the years with the building, that we can survey the floor plan and see if there was adequate coverage due to the Americans with Disabilities requirements for audio and visual signaling of a fire alarm. So today I was able to go with Mr. Metropolis and look over the building, and we identified some places that need improvement, and he's agreed to do it. And so the conditions haven't changed. We don't have any objections from the fire department for this project going forward, because when the tenant fit ups progress, we'll have inspection ability, so then we'll be able to make sure the improvements are made. So we have an agreement with Mr. Metropolis, and like I said, we have no objections to this project.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Captain Dowling. All I wanted to make sure that the building was safe for fire and the fire department to enter at any time. And if you're saying that's all you're looking for, I'm happy with that.
Yep.
Thank you. My only other request is that because it didn't seem to, over the years as alterations were made, that the building department commissioner's office wasn't aware of the floor plans. So one of the conditions, can we make sure that a new floor plan in detail is submitted with the commissioner's office, so when tenants come in and out, we have a check and balance to who's in, how many units are there. It was confusing.
Exactly, Counselor. Yeah, I had that conversation with Building Commissioner Tellerico, and we do want an updated CAD drawing of the actual floor plan, and it's going to have to be updated every time they change it. But because we have an older one with 10 units, but now there are 25 units, and we need that in the fire department for our, because we have an advanced system of response where we can actually look at the at the floor plans when we respond, and it increases our ability, for fire suppression or rescue. And the building department needs that as well.
Okay. Through the president, Chairman, to the Councilor Sasslaw, are you okay with adding that as a condition?
Absolutely.
Thank you. In the my only other question to the petitioner, Mr. Mitropoulos, do you know how many tenants you have in and out? I'm assuming it's 25 or less.
Currently, we have 19 tenants.
Okay. Okay.
Great. And also, we do have the floor plan already submitted. Was drawn up by a licensed architect, and it's already been submitted to the city.
Okay, to both the fire department and the building commissioner's office.
Well, I did submit it, but I don't know. It was sent to the city clerk, so I don't know what has been forwarded to the two departments yet.
Okay. To the city clerk's office, could you make sure both departments have that, Allison? If not, if you can resubmit it to Mr. Mitropoulos to both departments. If Allison can't do it for some reason or other, just want to make sure everything is set as we spoke for. And that's all my concerns, my questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Teresa. Are there any other questions or comments from fellow councilors? Councilor Rossignol.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Mr. Dowling, I know you had mentioned that because this building doesn't have fire sprinkler system, and they never did, that it doesn't need it currently. Through modifications of a building, what would trigger the need for a sprinkler system?
If they increase the square footage of the building, which this plan doesn't, it's just a recompartmentalization or a changing of the floor plan. So they wouldn't be required to retroactively install a sprinkler system in this building. According to Mass General Laws, Chapter 148, that they're not required to retroactively fit this with sprinkler system with fire protection.
Okay. Oh, so there is no law forcing any modification of a dwelling to for an office building to automatically trigger a sprinkler system. And my question actually is, I'm looking here at the Wiggins, and I know that this building hasn't grown in size, but I do see a sprinkler system in here through, as modifications have happened to this building and through upgrades. My understanding was always with an office building or with a municipal building, if there was a specific amount of change that would trigger the need for a sprinkler system, but you're saying that that's not the case?
If there was a change of use to the building, then it would be considered. But since this is a B-use building use, there's no change of use, then there's no requirement for them to, they don't, it doesn't trigger Mass General Laws, Chapter 148 for that. No change of use, then they don't have to.
Okay, thank you.
And, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rossignol. Councilor Turco.
Well, Councilor Rossignol already asked the question, the exact question I was going to ask, but I'm going to piggyback on his question, which through you, Mr. President, to Captain Dowling. So what uses would trigger the need for a sprinkler system? Because I'm not sure if you're aware, but there are a lot of allowed uses here that don't need to come back before the council, and those stem from personal services, from hair salons to convenience stores to bank services. So
well, the main trigger would be residential, mixed use residential. If you had a tax pay residential, business use group on top, residential on the bottom, and residential on top, or if you had something with a kitchen, commercial kitchens with residential, but there's so many variances, that to actually talk about. But this particular case, it's business use group, reconfiguration. So it's business use group staying as business use group, not increasing the size of the square footage of the building. So the threshold now for any building in Massachusetts specifically is 7,500 square feet. Anything over 7,500 square feet, it doesn't matter what the use group is, you're required to have a sprinkler system. But if you're asking me what requires sprinklers, that's a very vague and broad question, because when it comes to mixed use.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other councils?
You're welcome.
Thank you, Captain Dowling. Any other councils at this time would like to ask questions? Seeing none, Councilor Sasslaw.
Thank you. So I will be making the motion to approve with the three following conditions. The first would be that they would agree to a permit, agree to a special permit transfer for any new owner, number one. Number two, a new and updated CAD floor plan must be provided. If it has already, that is good. And also going forward, anytime there's a change in businesses, that also needs to be supplied to the firefighter department and to the building department. And the third condition would be that the additional auto-visual alarms and illuminated exit signs are required by Captain Dowling will be made by the petitioner. So once again, I'll be approving it, the three special conditions. Just to be clear, I want to make sure I got what everyone said. I got you all, what you said. So right now I take a motion to approve the application from Peter Metropolis, care of DMP Realty, Trust 484 Lowell Street, Peabody, Mass. Special permit, amending special permit number 4-1981 by changing the number of individual units in the existing building from 10 units to 25 units. Said additional units shall be included in the list of approved special permit uses specified in said special permit 4-1981 at 484 Lowell Street, Peabody, Mass. As filed in accordance with sections 4.2.5, 6.1, and 15.7 of the Peabody zoning ordinance. The three additional conditions. Number one, agree that the owner any special permit transfer for new owner needs to come before the city council. Number two, an updated CAD floor plan will be provided to the city clerk to provide to the building inspector and the fire department, and any other changes will be provided for new tenants. And number three, additional audio visual alarms and illuminated exit signs that are required by Captain Christopher Dowling on his memo dated Thursday, January 14th, will be done and provided by the petitioner to Captain Dowling. So move.
You heard the motion from Councilor Sasslaw. Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the motion, and through you to Councilor Sasslaw. Councilor Sasslaw, I think your conditions are fine. I just, one suggestion on the first condition, all transfers technically come before the council. So if you could just add the word "come before the council for a hearing," I think that's the differentiating factor. If you'd be agreeable.
Yes, thank you. That's my intent. I was a little bit wordy. So to reword condition one, agree that any special permit transfer for new owner will come before the city council for a hearing.
Thank you, Councilor Sasslaw. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn and Councilor Sasslaw. You've heard the amended motion. Any debate? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol, Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill,
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
There are no reports of committees to this evening, but we'll now move to motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Gould. Councilor Gould.
No motions, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Gould. Councilor Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sure a lot of my colleagues have received a lot of questions from residents about their water and sewer bill. Recently, I know I had some discussions with my colleague, Councilor Sasslaw. So I'd like to make a co-motion with Councilor Sasslaw to ask Mr. Labossiere and Mr. Jingles to present to the council perhaps a better explanation to the public of our enterprise fund and how it does work and how it would show a lot of
Excuse me, Councilor Manning Martin. I'm sorry to interrupt you in the middle of a motion. It's just very difficult to hear you at this time. I'm not sure if the audio is just maybe if your microphone needs to be turned up, but it's just very difficult to hear, and I want to make sure everyone can hear it. Thank you.
Okay, did you hear any of it? I'll have to yell. I'm having a problem with my microphone. Can you guys hear me at all?
That's much better. I'm sorry. Yes. If you wouldn't mind repeating it, I'm sorry, just to make sure it's heard. Apologize. Thank you.
Yeah. Not a problem. I'm glad you let me know that I wasn't being heard. Thank you. I'd like to make a co-motion with my colleague, Councilor Sasslaw. I know all of us have been getting a lot of calls from residents about the water bill with a lot of questions as to why there's a difference in their past billing. And there could be various reasons, but I know that this would be the first year, I think, that we've been utilizing the enterprise fund that we created back in June of 2019. So I wanted Mr. Labossiere and Mr. Gingras to come to the council and present to the residents and the council kind of an explanation of how the enterprise fund works and how it would be affecting their billing, and any other questions that the council may have that we've received from our constituents regarding their concerns about their water bill. So a co-motion with Councilor Sasslaw to have them appear and give such a presentation. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Manning Martin. Is that a certain committee that you want to have review that matter?
I was thinking of the whole, Mr. President, but I'll leave that to you.
Thank you, Councilor Manning Martin. I know it probably dovetails between Public Services Committee because of Chairman Bob Labossiere, but also its billing. So I just didn't know if anyone has any. Let me ask Councilor City Clerk. Maybe because it dovetails between two committees, we should probably just have it be, we could do it before the regular meeting. I just wanted to make sure that we had it, if it applied to a committee. But you've heard the co-motion from Councilor Manning Martin and Councilor Sasslaw. Is there any debate on it? Councilor Rosignol.
Thank you, Mr. President. Where we're talking about money and finance, my recommendation would be putting this in finance. That's just my recommendation. Where it is an enterprise fund and where we're talking about tax classification, I think that would be the best place for it, but that's just my 2 cents on that matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rosignol. I think that's probably the best place to do it at this time, to at least have a, committee look at it and then bring it before the council so that we can set up a formal committee hearing. Are you amenable to that, Councilor Manny Martin?
Sure, I am, Mr. President. My major concern is that the format is such that it is open to the public, so the larger audience. So during the regular meeting would have been my probably preference. A lot of folks don't tune in for subcommittee meetings, although they are televised. But again, you're the president. I will leave that to you, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Manny Martin. My recommendation is that we have the Public Services Committee discuss it in subcommittee and certainly bring before the council that at the meeting so that it can be a broader discussion. I think that makes sense. Councilor McGinn.
I think, did you mean finance or did you mean public services, Mr. President?
I was going on Councilor Rosignol's recommendation that it be finance, but like I said, I'm open to whatever committee. It kind of dovetails. It's you're the chairman of the finance committee. I'd like to get your opinion, Councilor McGinn.
Happy to take it in finance, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. You've heard the motion to have from Councilor Manning Martin and Councilor Sasslaw. Any further debate? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilor Gould,
Yes.
Manny Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco, Rosignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive items 7A and 7B, communications from His Honor the Mayor for a transfer of funds. 7A and 7B, and refer them to finance. So moved.
You've heard the motion. Any debate? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilor Gould,
Councilor
Manny
Councilor President, I had a question on that.
Councilor Trust.
I'm sorry, I tried to get my hand up in time for you to see it. I did have a question to the President on 7B. Does that, with this transfer, am I reading it correctly, that takes care of the issues that 8C and 8D letters to us refer to on the accreditation status that we've been talking about?
Thank you, Councilor Trust. It's my understanding that this request for transfer of funds is to address the accreditation dilemma at this time. That's my understanding.
Just wanted to check, make sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Trust. Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like Ms. Hayden may be on the call from Peabody Public Library. Maybe she could provide some insight if appropriate.
Thank you, Councilor Welton. Let me ask Councilor McGinn. He has a question.
Just a point of order. If we're going to refer these to finance, we could certainly take any inputs at that time, Mr. President. We're just receiving these and referring them we're not taking them up at this moment.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. A great point. That's where, once again, it was my understanding, but to Councilor's Trust things, but that's why we're going to have this referred to Finance Committee as the motion stated, and then it'll be a robust discussion at that time. Any further debate?
No, I'm fine with that.
Roll call vote on the motion.
Councilor Gould,
Yes.
Manny Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rosignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under suspension of rules, motion to receive communication C, letter from Nancy Bassett in support of the library and funding, and the funding request. And 8D from Faye Colhonen with the same intent of supporting the library and the funding request. And I thank them both for their taking the time to write such wonderful letters in support of our library, which is one of our greatest resources in the city. So moved.
You've heard the motion from Councilor Manning Martin. Any further debate? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under suspension of the rules, motion to receive item 9G, the banner request from the North Shore Medical Center Cancer Walk banner to be displayed from June 7th to June 28th. So moved.
You've heard the motion to receive and approve item 8G. Beg your pardon. You've heard the motion to receive and approve item 9G. On the motion, any further debate? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no further motions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Manning Martin. Councilor Sasslaw.
No motions, orders, or resolutions. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilor Sasslaw. Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Mr. President. I intend to make a motion shortly, but did want to have a brief discussion. I'm sure many, if not all of you, understand that there was an accident, a very serious accident at the intersection of Bartholomew Street and Linfield Street this past week. First, I'd like to thank all the first responders, the fire department and the police officers for attending to the young woman who was involved with the accident. Fortunately, her injuries weren't as terrible as the visual display of the car all smashed up would have led you to believe. However, it definitely underscores there is a significant issue with Bartholomew Street and Linfield Street, that intersection there. Quite frankly, I think we're very fortunate that the injuries weren't worse than what they were, and I would certainly like to ensure that we do what we can to address the challenge that is at that intersection. I've had the opportunity to speak with Sergeant Harkins briefly and a few others from the Peabody Police Department regarding possible options that we could further explore. And I would like to make a motion to have the Municipal Safety Committee take this issue up, and I'd like that to be done within the month. And at that meeting, I would request that we have representation from the Peabody Police Department and also the Department of Public Services to have a discussion regarding any potential options that we could help to improve safety measures at that intersection. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Welton. You've heard, is there any debate? Councilor Turco.
Thank you, and thank you to Councilor Welton. If I could, Councilor, I think you remember there was a traffic study conducted through state funding that Representative Walsh had obtained, and I think that study was completed somewhere around 6 months ago, and it's being looked at by the city, but it did include that intersection, so I would ask that maybe a copy of that study be distributed to the council as part of this motion prior to the subcommittee meeting, so that we can look at how it's addressed through the study. Council, I'll defer to you on that.
Yes, thank you, Councilor Turco. If I could amend the motion to also make that traffic study available prior to the meeting of the Municipal Safety Committee. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Welton. You've heard the amended motion. Any further debate?
Yes, Council President.
Councilor Sasslaw.
Thank you, Council President, and thank you for bringing this up, Council Welton. This reminds me of the tragic accident we had, of fatality years ago at the St. Adelaide's Church. And I'm happy that you're bringing it up. I would just make one other possible request, Council Welton, if you're comfortable with it, that the police or whoever does a cost analysis for a stoplight, because I think that's something that potentially could be on the table. And rather than to delay that cost before the meeting, as Council Turco said, we have a traffic study, and if before the subcommittee, they could also give us a expected cost if a potential for a traffic light went there, what that would be. I think once again, the situation is not going to get any better, and we should have all information available to us to try and make an educated decision. So if you're comfortable with that, Council Welton, I would just make that request also.
Thank you, Councilor Sasslaw. Definitely comfortable with that. As far as procedurally how best to address that, I defer to you as the chair of the Municipal Safety Committee. Perhaps we can receive a copy of the traffic study with recommendations listed, and then request for potentially a budget analysis of what the associated costs might be. If we could do that perhaps in the next week or so, and then schedule the public safety, the Municipal Safety Committee after we have an opportunity to look at that. I think that might be the best way to move forward, but certainly open any suggestions from any councilors.
A cost analysis would be great, and if could direct the city clerk to, I know Sergeant Hawkins' name was in there, also please forward it to Captain Richards, who's in charge of traffic throughout the city, and then they can decide who can do the cost analysis. Thank you, Council Welton.
Thank you.
We still have a motion on the floor. Is there any further debate? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill. Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor Welton.
Thank you, Mr. President. No further motions, but I did just want to give a huge thank you to Public Health Director Cameron. As we know, we're kind of in the middle of a second surge in her office. Her efforts and those of her nurses and her staff have been tremendous and exceptional during this very difficult time. So I don't think we as a body can share enough praise on her behalf, but thank you very much to Sharon Cameron and her team. No further motions.
Thank you, Councilor Welton. Councilor Trest. Councilor Trest.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
I'm sorry, Councilor Trest. You no motions this evening?
Yes, no motion. Can you not hear me?
I could not. I think you were on mute. Thank you, Councilor Trest.
No, thank you.
Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive item 7C and approve the appointments of the various individuals listed on this communication from His Honor the Mayor dated January 8th, 2021 for the various positions and terms listed therein. So moved.
You've heard the motion from Councilor McGinn. Any debate?
Mr. President.
Councilor Gould.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Maybe just because it's acknowledgement of these folks that give of their time, Councilor McGinn, maybe you want to, I don't want to get you bogged down in reading the terms, But do you mind going through the names, or I'll do it for you? Just so these folks, if they're watching, will know that we appreciate everything they're doing for the city.
Councilor McGinn?
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Councilor Gould, no problem. I'm just going to leave off the addresses for the sake of
Yes.
expediency.
Absolutely, right.
So the list includes as follows: Kevin Killy to the position of Assistant Director of Public Services for a 1-year term. Frank Galuggi to position of the Zoning Board of Appeals for a 3-year term. Julie Picardi, Zoning Board of Appeals for a 3-year term. Ed Colbert, the Zoning Board of Appeals alternate for a 1-year term. Keith Slattery to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a 1-year term. Kevin Donovan to the Cable Commission for a 3-year term. Mike Locher to the Cable Commission for a 3-year term. Ross Richardson to the Cable Commission for a 3-year term. John Swanson to the Cable Commission for a 3-year term. Daniel Loring to the Cable Commission for a 3-year term. Chris Morphus, the City Collector, for a 1-year term. Robin Milbury to the Community Development Authority for a 1-year term. William Woods Jr. to the Community Development Authority for a 1-year term. Erica Barrett to the Commission on Disabilities for a 1-year term. Robert Caldwell to the Commission on Disabilities for a 1-year term. Anthony Porcello to the Commission on Disabilities for a 1-year term. Loretta Tagnaglia to the Council on Aging for a 1-year term. Jennifer Davis, Director of Parks, Recreation and Forestry for a 1-year term. Joseph Daly, Emergency Management Director for a 1-year term. James M. Hayfie, the Facilities Director for a 1-year term. Joanne Roden, Farm Manager for a 1-year term. Paul Focus, Plumbing and Gas Inspector for a 1-year term. David Cronin to the Historical Commission for a 3-year term. John Andruskowitz for the Historical Commission for a 1-year term. Beth Brendan O'Donnell, Human Resources Director for a 1-year term. Albert Talgarico to the Building Commissioner for a 1-year term. Mark Menard to Local Building Inspector for a 1-year term. Maureen Salmon, Outdoor Education Coordinator for a 1-year term. Kirsten Payne, Parks and Recreation Program Supervisor for a 1-year term. Brian Grant, Superintendent of Parks and Forestry for a 1-year term. Daniel B. Doucette, Purchasing Agent for a 1-year term. Robert Labossiere, Director of Public Services for a 1-year term. And Diane Full, Treasurer for a 1-year term. Stephen J. Patton, Veterans Agent for a 1-year term. Sean M. Mahoney, Wire Inspector for a 1-year term.
Councilor McGinn, thank you so much. That means a lot to those folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. You've heard the motion. Is there any debate? Councilor Manning Martin? Sorry, I thought I saw you raising your hand. You've heard the motion. No further debate. Seen. Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. On suspension of the rules, move to receive item 8A. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. You've heard the motion. Any debate? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville, O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. No further motions.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Councilor Mitsoulas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, under suspension of the rules, I'd like to go to item 8B. I'm not sure if that was received yet. Could you answer that for me?
Councilor Mitsoulas, I'm sorry, what letter under 8 was it?
8B. That refers to 5 Webster Street.
Thank you, Councilor Mitsoulas. 8B has already been received.
Okay, I thought so. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman
Under
Matsoulis.
Thank you. Under suspension of the rules, I'd like to go to item 8H, and that is in reference to the show cause hearing we have scheduled at our next meeting, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to receive it, and hopefully that issue will be settled by the time we have our next meeting. We have a lot of people working on this. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman Matsoulis. You've heard the motion to receive and refer to the show cause hearing. Any debate? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Mr. President?
Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Councilor Matsoulis. Councilor, just so that we can have as much information as possible, I was wondering if perhaps in addition to receiving this, we should refer it to the building commissioner's office and the city solicitor so that we could get their comments on this communication.
Thank you, Councilman. Again, these are the people who are working on this issue. I probably should have told you that. We're hoping to have this settled by our next meeting. But I go along with that, send a copy to our attorney, and who's the other one you said, building commissioner.
For their comments. Thank you, Councilor Thank you, Councilor Matsoulis. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Councilors McGinn and Matsoulis. You've heard the motion to receive and refer to the show cause hearing, as well as asking for review and comment by the building inspector and city solicitor. Any further debate? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasla,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist,
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Matsoulis.
Yes.
Turco.
Yes.
Rozignol.
Yes.
Melville.
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor Matsoulis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Also, Mr. Chairman, under suspension of the rules, I'd like to go to item 8G. I'm not really clear on this one, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to receive and set up a special permit hearing for this. I'm not quite sure he's asking for a special permit on this, and I'm not clear on it. I thought that all permits needed a special permit, and I don't see him asking for one in this case.
Excuse me, Councilor Matsoulis. Item 8G, you are correct. It does refer to a transfer, but at this point in time, there's no special permit hearing needed. It's a simple transfer, so it would just be a motion to approve all papers being in order.
Well, that's what I thought. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So moved.
Any further debate? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasla,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Matsoulis,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor Matsoulis.
No further motions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Matsoulis. Councilor Turco.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, all papers being in order, move to receive and approve items 9A, Class 1 Motor Vehicle License 2021 renewal for Tesla Motors, 210 Andover Street. You want me to take them all in one motion, Mr. President, and make this a little bit more smooth?
If you wouldn't mind, Councilor Turco.
Item 9B, Class 2 Motor Vehicle Licenses, 2021 renewal, American Auto Export, 484 Lowell Street, Auto Transporters of New England, rear 55 Linfield Street, JRM Auto Sales, 80 Newbury Street, Legacy Auto Sales, 92 Foster Street, Louis BMW, 260 Newbury Street, Malia's Towing, 161, 163 Washington Street, Mario's Auto Sales, 245 Andover Street, RNA Automotive, 26 Lake Street, Tremont Auto Sales, 97 Tremont Street, Tri-City Services, 55 Real Walnut Street, USA Speedy Auto, 108 Newbury Street, Walnut Street Auto Sales, 55 to 57 Walnut Street. Item C, all papers being in order. Class 3 motor vehicle licenses renewals for 2021. Guarisi Brothers Auto, 0 Corwin Street. Item D, entertainment license renewal for 2021.
Excuse me, Council, sorry to interrupt, Councilor Turco. I'd like to see if we could just keep the motor licenses renewals at the same, in the same motion. So if we could just stop there.
Okay.
Thank you.
So moved.
Councilor Turco, you've heard the motion by Councilor Turco to receive and approve Class 1 motor vehicle licenses in Class 2 and Class 3. Any debate? Councilor Walton.
I just want to add 9F on that too. That was just left out in the same category.
Thank you, Councilor Walton. That's that's a transfer. We're just moving, these are licenses, so we're just doing in the rules right now, so thank you. On the motion, any further debate? Councilor Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and through you to the clerk, just for the record again, they would not be before us for renewal if their taxes were not up to date. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you very much.
Any further debate? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco, Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor Turco.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive and approve, all papers being in order. Item 9D, entertainment licenses, renewals for 2021. Brothers Restaurant, 11 Main Street, DNR Roadhouse Pub, 55 Pulaski Street, Daniela's Ristorante, 41 Cross Street. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Turco. You've heard the motion. Any debate? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist. Councilor Charist? McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 10-0.
Councilor Turco.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under suspension of the rules, move to receive and approve item 9E, all papers being in order. General licenses renewals for 2021. Bowling alley license, Metro Bowl, 63 Foster Street. Limousine license, Roadhouse Limousine, 55 Pulaski Street. Limousine license, Tri-City Services, 55 Rear Walnut Street. Limousine license, Sir Charles Limousine, 200 Lake Street. Pool and billiard license, Metro Bowl, 63 Foster Street. Taxi cab license, Tri-City Services, 55 Rear Walnut Street. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Turco. You've heard the motion. Any debate? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charist,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor Turco.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of Councilor Sasslaw, I move to receive and set up a public hearing for item 9F, Class 2 motor vehicle license, transfer Broadway Motors, 288 Newbury Street. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Turco. You've heard the motion. Any debate? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charished,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor
Thank you,
Turco.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to receive item 9H and approve all papers being in order. In-holder licenses renewals for 2021. Boston Marriott Peabody 8A Centennial Drive, Extended Stay America, number 9666, 200 Jubilee Drive, Hampton Inn Boston Peabody 59 Newbury Street, Homewood Suites Boston Peabody 57 Newbury Street, Spring Hill Suites Marriott 43 Newbury Street. So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Turco. You've heard the motion. Any debate? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charished,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Motion carries 11-0.
Councilor Turco.
No further motions, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Turco. Councilor Rozignol.
Thank you, Mr. President. No motions this evening.
Thank you, Councilor Rozignol. Councilor Melville.
Nope, we're good.
No motions this evening. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Rozignol. I have no motions this evening. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, if I may.
Councilor
I'm sorry.
Gould.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sorry about that. Allison, could we please schedule a Industrial Community Development Subcommittee meeting on the first meeting in February? The housing production plan just arrived today from the vendor that has been reworking our language, and I'd like to review it with the subcommittee and then on to the full council. Please.
Yes, Counselor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Gould.
Thank you, Mr. President. All set.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Roll call
Good
vote,
night,
please.
everybody. Thank you.
Councilor Gould, do you have something?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Roll call vote on the motion to adjourn.
Counselor Gould,
Yes.
Manning Martin,
Yes.
Sasslaw,
Yes.
Welton,
Yes.
Charis,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas,
Yes.
Turco,
Yes.
Rozignol,
Yes.
Melville, O'Neill.
Yes,
Motion carries 11-0.
this meeting is adjourned.